Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about module number 1, that is importance of sag, definition of sag, important points related to sag. So first of all, here we are going to discuss about importance of sag. Overhead lines showed a tendency to sag down when they are suspended between the 2 points. That means if you take the 2 supporting poles, in between the 2 supporting poles there exists that one conductor. Okay, now for existing conductor there exists a sag. Sag is nothing but the difference of that conductor between the 2 towers. The wire takes place a shape of catenary or a parabola as shown in this figure. So this is that the sag length, and this is that length of the span between the 2 successive poles. Here pole 1 is nothing but tower 1, pole 2 is nothing but tower 2, and the remaining length from ground to this minimum distance from the ground, that point is called as ground clearance. Therefore, this sag plays an important role in the mechanical design of the overhead lines. From the economic point of view, the transmission lines are designed to have a lowest cost and length of the transmission line be L as shown in this figure. So in this figure I am showing that 2 towers, 2 transmission poles like tower 1 and tower 2, and L is the length of the conductor or the span between the 2 successive poles. If the wire sags, the additional height of the towers required increases cost. So when we are going to choose a particular height of the towers, if the particular height of the towers it should be somewhat small, then sag is small, otherwise the sag will be high. To keep the cost it is minimum, the sag should be maintained at minimum level. If the sag is too high or if the sag is too low, then the wire subjects to an extra tension. There are other factors like wind, temperature, which creates the stress on the conductors. So while we are constructing that one transmission system, for example, if you take the 2 successive poles, between the 2 successive poles there exists a conductor. The minimum sag is permitted between the 2 successive poles of a required span. If there is a minimum sag, then it has that withstand capability from wind and temperature. During summer, the length of the conductor at per unit centimeter, there exists that extraction. During winter, there exists that contradiction. So in order to overcome these difficulties with respect to the temperature or with respect to the season, and it has to withstand from heavy winds, there should be permissible sag which is allowed between the 2 successive poles, but the sag is too low. Otherwise, if the sag is too high, then it increases that cost of the towers, which increases that its height. If sufficient sag is not permitted, then the conductor cannot sustain such tension, and there are all possibilities of the mechanical failure of the transmission lines. So if there is a permissible sag, nothing to worry. If there is no permissible sag, if the sag is very too high, then it does not satisfy the mechanical properties, then simply that conductor may break down. So it is an important point to design the transmission lines to satisfy both condition of minimum sag and less tension, and hence the minimum sag value is to be designed. Considering whatever we discussed right now, all the points into severe conditions such that there is a tension in the conductor which is always well within the safe limits. If the tension on the conductor is appreciated level, nothing to worry. If the tension on the conductor, if it is very high, then it creates other problems to us. So such severe conditions, that means that worst conditions is existed, maybe include that ice coating on the lines or with high wind pressure. If that ice coating on the transmission lines with that high wind pressure, there exists that the conductor sag will be increases, otherwise the sag is in permissible level. Hence it is necessary to design transmission lines for sag and tension under all weather conditions. Once we are constructed that one transmission system, or once we wound one conductor between the 2 successive poles, there should be permissible sag that can withstand from all contradiction, extradiction, and from heavy winds, and even from ice coating on the transmission lines. So otherwise the conductor may break down due to that increasing of high sag. or otherwise there exists that LG fault. So overall calculations or the design is considered as mechanical design of the transmission line should be permissible sag. Next, definition of sag. To discuss about the definition of a sag, let us consider an overhead transmission line. Here a overhead transmission line is considered between the two poles like pole A and pole B, and the transmission line is suspended between the two supports like A and B as shown in this figure. The transmission line is not fully stretched, but it is allowed to sag down. So here we can observe the sag. Here S represents that amount of the sag which has been takes place from the maximum height of that tower to minimum height of that ground. So the transmission is not fully stretched, but it is allowed to sag down. The point O is the lowest point in the conductor. Here point O is the lowest point of the conductor. Therefore the difference between the maximum height of that tower to minimum height of that conductor, that is point O, is called as sag length. Then definition of sag. The difference in the levels of support and the lowest point of the conductor is known as sag. Important points related to sag. From the calculation point of view, some important considerations for the calculation sag to be made. They are: when the supports are to be same, then the shape of the conductor is catenary. We can look at here, this is nothing but the catenary shape, and hence it is called as sag catenary, or it is also called as parabola shape. So the shape of the conductor is called as sag span curve. If the sag is small compared with the span of the sag span curve, hence it is called as a parabola curve. The tension at any point on the conductor acts tangentially as shown in this figure. So if you see here, let us take a point O, then H indicates that pressure on that point, that is in tangent. And if you see here, if you take any one point on the conductor, or suppose if we take that a point P on the conductor, then capital T offers that pressure on that conductor which is in tangent position. So at point P on the conductor, the tension T acts tangentially. At point P, the tension T acts like this direction, and this tension T has two components, one acting horizontally and other acting vertically. So one acting horizontally H, and other acting acts vertically at here at any point on this conductor. The tangent direction at point O is horizontal. Yes, this is the tangent direction in horizontal, and the tension point at O acts horizontally, and it is denoted as H. Here H denotes that tension. The horizontal component of tension H, the horizontal component of tension H is constant throughout the length of the wire. At both points O and P, the horizontal tension capital H is constant. So if you look at here, this is that length of the conductor, that is AB. AB is that length of the conductor, and if you take the point O, then the tension acts horizontally and it is represented with H. Or if you take that point P, the tension acts horizontally, it represented with the point T at here. But most of the cases at any point on the conductor, the tension is always acts in horizontally, and H is the constant value. The tension at the supports is approximately equal to the horizontal tension acting at any point on the conductor. Therefore, the horizontal tension acting at any point is capital H, that we can see here. This is that a point O on this conductor. In general, tension acts either in horizontal position or in vertical position. If you see here at point O, the tension acts in horizontal position, it is represented with letter called H here. And if you take point P, so the tangent line can draw as like this. For this point, as to touch the maximum conductor, we can draw that one line. Then this is that horizontal line to this point P, and this is that horizontal case where the tension acts at here. Therefore, the horizontal tension acting at any point is capital H, and the tension at support A or B is small t, and capital T is equal to capital H. Thank you.